Today's video will be a video that will be short but very important: how to read a monopoly graph. We will start with the quantities and what these quantity values actually represent. First of all, we could look at quantity M. Quantity M is the profit maximizing quantity due to the fact that at quantity M, marginal revenue intersects marginal cost. Secondly, we could look at quantity N, and at quantity N, we find that this is the quantity that represents the MES, the minimum efficiency scale. This is the quantity where the firm is most efficient. Quantity Q represents the socially efficient quantity. The socially efficient quantity is the point where demand intersects marginal cost, and once again, marginal cost represents the supply curve for the firm. The AP may ask, at what quantity would the perfectly competitive firm produce at using this graph? And the answer would be quantity Q. Lastly, we could look at quantity R. Quantity R would be the regulated quantity or the regulated price, and the reason for this is because demand equals average total cost, where the firm would be earning an economic profit of 0 or the normal rate of return. Secondly, let's look at the marginal revenue curve and remind ourselves how we want to use the marginal revenue curve to determine some important points. Number one, and we constantly talk about this point, at this point, marginal revenue equals 0, and when marginal revenue equals 0, total revenue is maximized. At this point, when marginal revenue equals 0, we also know that demand is unitary. When marginal revenue is negative, we know that demand is inelastic at that point. And when marginal revenue is positive, then we also know that demand is elastic. Earlier, we were able to distinguish that quantity M would be the quantity that the monopolist would produce at. Again, using the profit maximizing rule, we will produce at the point where marginal revenue intersects marginal cost. Secondly, we need to then understand that at that quantity, what price are we going to be able to charge? And we will be able to charge price A, because at quantity M, when we move to the demand curve, we will notice that price A is the price that the firm is able to produce at. The next point we need to distinguish is the average total cost at quantity M. So at quantity M, we will move up to the average total cost curve, and the average total cost curve will be determined by point B. When we look at price minus average total cost multiplied by the quantity of M, we then have our economic profit. The last point we want to look at using our graph is the area of dead weight loss. Remember, the area of dead weight loss represents the inefficiency of monopolies. Again, there are two reasons why monopolies are inefficient. One is that the monopolist is able to set their price above their marginal cost, and secondly, the quantity of the monopolist is less than the socially efficient quantity. So we will go to this point here We will also go to marginal cost and the price that is set, and this triangled area will represent the deadweight loss that is created by the monopolist. Once again, I hope these videos are helping you out. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me. Stay safe and stay healthy.